Hello everyone, welcome once again. Thank you for joining us for today's session. My name is Vikas and I am working as one of the marketing manager at Kellton Tech. Well, Kellton Tech has been servicing software AG community since 1997 with over 250 successful implementations throughout US and Canada. Well, for today's session, we are presenting software AG's MFT Managed File Transfer presented by Narasimha Rao, who is working as one of the senior integrations architect with over 14 years of experience in enterprise application integration and software AG suite of products. Well, just a little of housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box on the GoToWebinar control panel, and I'll bring them up during the presentation at the end of this session. And also let me tell you that this session is being recorded, and the recorded version of this session will be forwarded onto your email IDs along with the set of answers which you're looking in for. And before I take up and forward this to Narasimha, let me just walk you through Kellton Tech presentation. It's been a long journey for us. Started in 1993, and in 2017 we have become one of the $100 million company, and we have pretty much a good client list across the globe with head offices in United States and also global centers in UK and India. Narasimha, can you please move to the next slide?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for that. If you see, we have we are early entry into the IoT and smart model, where we have been helping clients on their cloud ERP solutions, digital business platform, and digital system integrations. And as I said, we have been serving customers across the globe with more than 1100 plus employees. We have served about 600 plus customers, out of which we have about close to 40 plus from the Fortune 1000 list. And we are also partnered with a few of the top-notch technology partners like Software AG, MuleSoft, IBM, Red Hat, and even one of the SAP Platinum partner. And if you go through the client list, we have a partial client list of across the verticals: retail, manufacturing, energy, utilities, financial services, and we have worked with some top-notch companies like BP, J.Crew, and we have also worked with Fidelity and JP Morgan. So I'll not take much of your time on giving the presentation about Kellton Tech. So let me introduce you to the presenter. I'll be moving this to Narasimha. So Narasimha, this is your floor. We have some beautiful audience right over there, and they are interested in learning about the software AG's MFT. So please go ahead and let's get started.
Hey, good morning everybody. My name is Narasimha Chillara. So today we'll be able to talking about the MFT and the challenges the organization face using the traditional FTP and SFTP, and how MFT can overcome those challenges. Okay, its architecture and capabilities, and we will have a small demo, and we will have we'll end up this session with Q&A. Traditional FTP and SFTP challenges. First one is file transfer protocol. It is good for the in-house file transfer. It is easy to use. The cons is risking the enterprise security due to the lack of or optional encryption. It is a point-to-point solution. No provision for alerts. Okay, it has minimum auditing capabilities due to limited logging and auditing reports. So if some people is using SFTP, like it transfers the file using the encrypted channel. So it uses username and passwords also using encrypted only. It supports basic scripting and API. It is also a point-to-point solution. It doesn't provide any alerts. It's also have minimal capabilities due to limited logging and reporting. When we are using FTP or SFTP, what can go wrong? The network failure can happen, hardware can failure, low bandwidth will cause drop of the files when we are transferring, or when we are processing the file, it can start before the file fully transferred, or there is no end-to-end visibility, loss of files. These are the things can go wrong when we are using traditional FTP and SFTP. Suppose if you look into the architecture of when we are using FTP and SFTP other than the MFT solutions, okay, the organizations may have started FTP to transfer the files. With ever-growing number of file transfers, so they may adapted SFTP or HTTPS. Okay, the net result is that the organization may end up with bunch of solutions and dozens of servers. It is not a centralized solution. Okay, this is where the MFT will help the organization to make a centralized solution and monitor and providing all the auditings and also integrate with applications. Manage file transfer. It supports all the open standards. It is secure and reliable. It integrates with existing tools. Integration of the data. It's not only just a transfer of the file, it processes the data in the file. And it interacts with ERP, legacy system, and also with your existing infrastructure. For all the file transfers, it has schedules and triggers the events. It has a full auditing and reporting capability, and also it integrates with your applications. Okay. Manage file transfer architecture. When it comes to the architecture, it has three beautiful components. One is the active transfer web client, another is the active transfer gateway server, the third one is active transfer server. Active transfer web client is a GUI based, which runs on the browser, where the users, if the organizations who do not have their own infrastructure, they can use just a browser to log in. By using the login, they can able to see what are the virtual folders is assigned, so they can drag and drop the file to transfer, or they can download very easily. The active transfer gateway server, which will run on the enterprise gateway server, it is a lightweight integration server. It doesn't require any database, and also it doesn't require any storage when we are transferring the files from the outside the network. The third one is the active transfer server. So it runs on the integration server. It doesn't require any runtime. Okay, I'll go through this architecture one more time again. It also supports the clustering, and I will explain you how we can overcome the FTP and SFTP challenges. Okay. Manage file transfer. It is secure file transfer. It is reliable and guaranteed. It controls and manages the file transfer. It provides for all file transfers. It provides the schedule and post-processing event. It provides all the auditing and reporting capabilities when the file is transferred. Let me go through all these capabilities in detail further slides. For any partner who is transferring from outside the network, so they can come through demilitarized zone. This way, it will eliminate the loopholes of the inside the network. It supports all the secure protocols such as HTTPS, FTPS, SFTP, and SCP. And also, when we are transferring the files, it uses SSL certificates and SSH key authentication. For any sensitive data, it also encrypts the files using like AES, 3DS, and PGP encryption. It provides the role-based authentication to transfer the files. Reliability and guaranteed delivery. For each and every inbound and outbound file transfer, it has failover support. Suppose when we are copying a file, so we can say retry how many number of times, after how many seconds, or if your network is failure, so we can resume from the point of interruption. It also replicates the session. It gives the real-time alerts to the users when the file is successfully transferred or the failure if it requires. It provides the proof of delivery. So what user transferred the file, what time it has been transferred, and also it gives from where it has been transferred, like it is a successful or failure. By providing the proof of delivery, we can avoid to failure of the SLAs, to avoid the penalties. Controlled and managed file transfer. Okay, it can control the speed. It accepts the file transfer from IP addresses assigned to users. It accelerates the file transfer using terminals, which is a very good feature in MFT. Like suppose if you have an office in North America and you want to transfer the files in Asia with 5 gig of file. Okay, what it will do is the terminals, it will split the data into the chunks and streams the data to the server over the multiple channels as shown in the diagram in the splitter. Okay, so in the active transfer server, what it will do is it will assemble all those chunks and orders them and transfer it to your destination. We can use these tunnels for the inbound as well as outbound. By using MFT web client, we can drag and drop to transfer the files. It has a single point of control in MWS. So where you can manage the user management, server management, and virtual folder management. In the user management, we can create the users and permissions, and onboarding users, it has a template provision to accelerate onboard users. For the server management, we can create the ports and we can enable and disable those ports when it is not required. And also we can start the servers very quickly. In the MWS, we can manage the virtual folders and their access for each virtual folders, what type of permissions we can provide, either the upload, download, or that particular user has the capability to create his own virtual folder and link those folders using the local or the remote connections. It provides for all inbound scheduled and post-processing events. For the file operation, it supports move, copy, rename, encrypt, decrypt, and we can zip the file operations. It also executes like ETL jobs. It invokes, once the file has been transferred, it invokes your integration server service or the trading network flow services. Sometimes it can give the notifications to universal messaging or the JMS. Auditing and reporting. It has a dashboard to analyze the key metrics based on the file transfer volume. It compares the file transfer rates among the partners. It has the charts and graphs to slice the data and display through the filters. And we can export this data as a CSV or the image. In the installation time and implementation time, what are the components we have to install, and in the design time, what we have to do. In the installation time, we have to install Active Transfer Gateway Server in the DMZ zone, and we require Active Transfer Server in the internal network, and we need MWS where we can create like all the users and servers. We can create the servers and assign these users to the virtual folders. Mesh zone is required only if you require any like dashboards. If you do not have the mesh zone, it will provide just what the file had been transferred and who is the user is transferred. We can create the ports in the time of installation, and we can create the users and assign the privileges to the users. In the design time, we have to identify what are the inbounds and outbound flows is required for a partner, and what type of protocols we need to use, and we have to design like what are the virtual folders is required for the partner, and what type of permissions on those virtual folders we have to give it to a specific user. These are the things we have to do in the design time. As I said earlier, like when we are using the traditional FTP and SFTP, we can get the network or hardware failures. MFT will support active passive support. So where we can do, like in case of hardware failures or the network has been failed, it has the capability to resume the file when we are transferring the file. Okay. It also, even it is a clustered, it has a capability deliver only once. Let me move on to the how it is going to be worked in case of the inbound file transfer. Suppose when the partner wants to transfer a file, he can use any file transfer clients to connect to the host URL and port. Once he connected, he can see in his file transfer client what are the virtual folders is assigned to him. Because if he is outside the network, so when he places to transfer a file, first the request reaches to the Active Transfer Gateway Server and wait over there until the internal Active Transfer Server reaches and fetch the data using the reverse gateway connection. Okay. If he is inside the network for the inbound, it will directly Active Transfer Gateway Server will fetch the data to the virtual folder. Let me move on to the outbound process. Okay. For the outbound process, so if we want to transfer any files to the partner. So we already the administrator will already configure the virtual folders to either his local or the remote connections. So the active transfer server will transfer the files by using the zip or a regular transfer to directly to the partner's location. It doesn't require any gateway server because it will direct active transfer. Internal server has the capability to transfer for the outbounds directly. So the use cases where it is required the MFT. We can synchronize the files between the, like if they have the office in North America as well as Asia, they can, between the sites they can synchronize the files. Or if the same inside the organization itself, if the multiple departments require the same file, we can share that data. We can give the privileges based on his role. It is a bidirectional, it provides the bidirectional synchronization, and also it will send alerts to the stakeholders when the file is successfully transferred or it is fails. So to modernize for any like existing organization who are using FTP and SFTP, okay, so we can, the Kellton Tech will provide gap analysis where exactly it will fit and why we need the MFT, and we can provide the POCs we have the in our lab system, and also we can have the couple of utilities had already available in our lab systems, like onboarding the partners and creating the virtual folders automatically and creating the users and assigning those users based on his role to the virtual folders. The demo. So today I am going to show how the post-processing event is going to be work and schedule event is going to work, and where we can monitor this event is successfully executed or not, or what are the actions has been done in the time of event is occurred. For the demo purposes, I already created a couple of ports. Okay, so today I am using the web client using HTTP, and also I created the virtual folder management for the demo purposes. I am using the Kellton inbound and outbound for the post-processing event for the upload and download, and I am using the HR department for the schedule event. I'm just moving to the event management. So for all file transfers inside the organization, outside organizations, they have the two types of events. One is the post-processing event, another one is the schedule event. The post-processing event will do like if any file has been like uploaded or downloaded. So if you want to do any file operations, that time we can use the post-processing event. The schedule event is used if you want to schedule at a particular time, we can use the schedule event. Okay, let me show how an download event we can handle it. I am connecting to the web client using the port called 5562. I have a user created for the post-processing event. As soon as users log in using the web client or any of his file transfer, okay, he can able to see what are the virtual folders is assigned to particular user, and also his roles may be different for the each and every virtual folder. Suppose for this particular user HR0001, he having in the inbound like creation the folders, download, and also he can upload and he can rename the files and he can delete the files. Whereas when it comes to the inbound virtual folder, he has the less permissions, we can assign less permissions. Okay. Let me upload a file into the inbound. And just you can select any number of files, not only single file. We can start uploading, or you can select here start. Okay, the files has been successfully uploaded. Let me show you how we can monitor the files is successfully uploaded. What are the events it has been triggered during the upload. Okay, I use the HR0001. It is showing the file has been uploaded. Okay, let me go through in detail what it is showing the activities. File is uploaded, and also it executes the service, and also it moves, once the service executed, it moves the file into the archive location. Okay, these are the three operations it has been done when the file is uploaded. Let me show you here in detail what are the actions we are doing. I selected the operation as a upload. We can select the virtual folder. We have to define like when the file is only success to do the operation, or when the failure or success or failure. And also we can assign a specific user. I have added an action, execute a service. We can add n number of actions. Once it is executed, I am just moving it to the archive. If you want add like any other action, you just click on the plus button. Not this one, sorry for that. In the action, you just click a plus button. It will provide us, so to select a category, to execute a file operation, or you want to execute any integration service, or you want to execute like a script in the Unix box, or if you want to execute any trading network service, or you want to send a notification to broker, or you want to send any JMS notification, and also it will send file operate like email, or we can write into the database. In the file operation, it will provide different actions like copying and delete, or we can encrypt if it is a sensitive data, or we can decrypt. If we have like large number of files, we can zip and unzip it. Let me give you another event, the download event, so which I already designed. Okay. Once in the download event, what I designed is like once the file has been downloaded from the outbound, okay, for the same user HR0001, I'm executing a service, and also I'm moving that file into the archive location. We can select n number of files, and we can say click download. The files has been downloaded into your local download location. See, once I refresh, the files has been moved to the archive. Let me show you the scheduled event. For the schedule event, I'm going to schedule it right now. This is 23rd. What I am doing is I am finding all the files from this particular local C drive, or you can use any remote or the virtual folder. And I am zipping all those files to the HR inbound virtual folder, and I'm unzipping whatever the files inside the zip file, okay, and I am removing the zip file from the original location, from the virtual folder. If you have required any like alerts, we can specify in this alert section. Okay, I have not configured any alerts. I'm just saving this one. Okay, the time is already. Let me schedule it. hit 38. See, I gave the zip file name as a demo. Let me show you in detail what are the activities it has been done. When you go to the activity, so for the schedule event, it pick up 25 files from where it is giving in detail from where it is been pick up all the files, what are the files it has been pick up, okay, and it is showing in the zip file what are the files it has been zipped, and it is showing unzip those files into what is the location. Any questions, please?
Well, thank you everyone. I know we might have extended this session for 10 more minutes. Since we are running short of time, we may not be able to take any questions, but I see there are a few questions coming in. We'll make sure that these questions have been answered through an email along with the presentation of today's session and also the recording. And let me take this opportunity, you have been a great audience for today's webinar. But however, we have one more session coming in on the 1st of March on API strategy with IBM API Connect. And we have Balaji Vinay looking after this session. So I invite everyone for this webinar as well. So look forward to talk to you. And as I said, all the questions and the video recording of this session will be sent through an email. Thank you and have a good day, guys.